That's how we start our podcast.
That's right.
Yep. Welcome to the finale of our Unshakeable podcast for this Anchor series. We made it. We did the last Sunday in this series. Was that your phone?
Son of a...
Unbelievable.
No,
I tell you what, we tried to
your
get
laptop
in.
on mute, Tyler.
We tried to get into our
embarrassing.
last podcast and we got dinging going on. All right.
Unbelievable.
So it's been good.
Yeah.
I mean, according to Tyler, literally tens of thousands of people have tuned in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay?
All my family members and me.
Which honestly,
is a lot.
with marriage could be 10,000. So he's
That's
got
true.
a lot of
Yeah.
family members, but it's been good. So we actually decided once we got into this, we're like, man, what if we just do this during each of our Anchor series? So we're going to do this again
Love it.
in February and March for our Anchor series for the winter and spring. And it's just been awesome because we get a chance to talk about some of the stuff that almost like we would if we were just hanging out around the church during the week or maybe in a life group, just talking. I mean, it'd be a small life group, just the three of us. But
It would be a good one, though.
for those who aren't watching but are listening, got Shane and Tyler with me. Tyler, you've hung on. And to be honest, Shane, you made a good comeback. Obviously, Yeah.
I didn't feel good about how I started, but I feel really good about how I ended.
Well,
I stood firm.
Let's hold tight until we get this one over with before we decide how you did today.
You guys said that last week. You're like, it's still early. Chill out.
Still early.
We'll be the judge of that, okay?
Sorry, guys. Thank you. I'm humbled and honored that you would invite me back for a third round.
You ever watch a TV show where they like kill one of the characters off in the finale?
Well, it seems a little extreme. Is that what we're doing?
I guess it's going to be me.
We'll find out.
Not in Unshakeable, though.
Not in
Unshakable,
Unshakeable.
it ain't happening.
Nope.
So,
Come back in the spring to see if I am still alive.
we'll pray about it. That's what I had an old boss who used to say every time that he wasn't sure about something. He goes, well, let me pray about that.
That's literally what I say to my kids.
That way
Very
he
simple
He wouldn't have to
questions,
say
too.
no. He'd just say,
Yep.
yeah, let me pray about that. Blame
They're
it
still
on-
asking if they can go get some of their Halloween candy.
I'll pray
I'm
about
like,
it.
I'll pray about it.
Pray about it.
Meanwhile, it's in your sock drawer.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, let's dive in. We finished up 1 Corinthians chapter 16. I'm going to read the passage and we'll just talk about it a little bit today. And if there's anything else from this series that you guys are like, man, this has been something that stuck out to me, I've given you now all of 3 seconds to think about what that could be. All right. Okay. 1 Corinthians 16, 13 through 14 says this: be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong, and let all that you do be done in love. And so we kind of came out of the gate talking about, man, what's it look like to understand that we're in a fight? And so, even if we were to say, kind of package these two together, it's just the whole be watchful and stand firm. What's that look like for you guys? Let's say I'm sitting across the table and you're like, man, and I'm just telling you, hey, life has been crazy. I just feel like I've gotten walloped, or man, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. What do you say to me based on this passage in which Paul's trying to get at us, man, to stand firm in the faith?
I think it can be really easy to, when he talks about being watchful, I think it can be really easy to look at your circumstances, look at other people as, that's my battle. My battle's with my spouse. My battle's with my kids, with my boss, whatever it is. But going, no, part of being watchful is knowing your enemy is not a person of this world. It's the ruler of this world.
Man. So knowing that that's a spiritual battle, what in your guys' lives, what are some indicators where you're like, man, this is where I kind of see like repeatedly, like the spiritual battle ends up taking shape? Because especially for those who aren't used to even spiritual battle language, like how do we know we're in a spiritual battle? What's that look like for you guys where you're like, man, honestly, this is an indicator for me that this is probably a spiritual battle that I'm navigating.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, we've had these conversations before. Like, I always feel like it's the same things. Like, anytime that I feel like, I've got 3 kids. And so anytime that like something starts going on with our kids, it's an indicator. Finances is always a big one for me. Like, anytime I start feeling this like immense amount of anxiety over finances, I'm like, this is a spiritual battle. I don't know. I just feel
because kind of dig into that a little bit. Because obviously money is a tangible thing, but why?
Right.
What's the spiritual aspect of that for you?
So I think that like maybe because of the way that I was raised and some of the things that I observed in my family growing up, finances was like just kind of always a thing. And, being a guy, like I like to be in control.
Yeah.
And so finances is one of those things that like, because it's tangible, but because you like, I have to pay my mortgage. I have to pay my, like, there are so many things where it's like you can start to lose control over it.
It sparks for you that battle for control and that fear and all the stuff that comes with spiritual warfare.
Yeah, like not being able to provide, like, I don't know. And so I just feel like the enemy uses that for me as a way to like spin me out.
Yeah. So we talked about standing, like the way we stand firm is that we bring the battle to light. So when you guys think of spiritual battles and like, you know, Shane, you mentioned it, and sorry, Tyler, I didn't give you a chance to answer, but if you pay me enough money, I will.
Yeah.
His answer was way better than mine. So.
Fair. Okay, so this is where my mind goes, and we've had this conversation as a family. Anytime we talk about spiritual warfare, one of the things that's an indicator for our family about spiritual warfare is if it doesn't make sense. In other words, it's like, hey, there's like no reason that the anxiety's there, or there's no, like, you can't look at your circumstances even and explain what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's like, if there's not a tangible way or a physical way, you know, like what if I shouldn't be stressed about money, but I am.
Right.
And anxiety is gripping me in fear. Like, if it doesn't make sense that I'm stressed, then maybe that's an indication of a spiritual battle. I remember one time when Rachel and I, it was early on in the church, we were sitting on the back porch and we were just like irritable at each other, like just stupid stuff. And not really even, almost not even at each other, but almost just like in our conversation, like both sides were just kind of edgy. We were on edge. And she stopped and she's like, man, this just feels spiritual.
Yeah.
Like, there was no reason. Like, I wasn't upset at her. She wasn't upset at me. We were both kind of, you know, it wasn't like we weren't sleeping or whatever. It was like, no, we just felt like this dynamic that was disruptive, you know? And so anytime we feel like a disruptive dynamic in our home, we're like, man, is this spiritual? Now, I'm not like one of the people that needs to blame everything on Satan, right?
Sure.
I don't want to give him any credit for anything he hasn't done. But I think there's a recognition at some level of going, we got to get better at identifying these spiritual battles.
Yeah. There's definitely a tension there. I know you've mentioned that from like in your messages before of like, hey, we don't want to give Satan too much credit. You know, it's like, oh, you're driving in your car and you spill your drink. It's not, oh, Satan did that. It's like, no, but there is, I think I resonate a lot. That's
Satan does drive down range line though.
It definitely seems like it sometimes.
In multiple cars.
And he doesn't use a turn signal ever either.
And he goes 10 under the speed limit all the time.
Sorry, totally interrupted.
But like when you were talking, that what you had said resonates with me a ton when it doesn't make sense. And so I think sometimes there's like it doesn't make sense for a long period of time sometimes too.
Okay.
Like I was thinking like for our family in general, it was a couple years ago, we kind of had a financial thing where it wasn't just one or two things. It was like for that entire year, like 10 or 11 things, one after another, where you're like, what in the world do we do?
Yeah. Like it couldn't be bad luck. It's almost like, geesh, man.
And it wasn't a bad decision. It wasn't like, oh, we just made it. Yeah, we regret that. Of course, it's that decision. It's like, no, this went wrong, then this, then this, then this. You're like, what do we even do?
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a term in our house. So my last name is Shower.
Yeah.
And so we have a term in our house called showerisms. And it's funny because showerisms often lead to the spiritual battle conversation. Because like you said, like I try not to hyper spiritualize things and everything's a spiritual battle. Like, you know, back to the finances, you know, do you guys remember? This is embarrassing. You guys remember when I first came on staff here? I was driving that white Mazda. I called it the Maserati.
Oh yeah, baby.
Remember I was leaving church on a Sunday morning, and I just smoked a pole in the parking lot.
No, you can't just blaze through that.
Okay.
He did blaze through it though. That's part of the story.
Literally.
You're parked in the gravel parking lot down on the south end of the lot by the pond.
Yep.
And you just led worship all morning. You go get in your car.
Serving the Lord.
Serving Jesus. You get in your car, and it's the guideline that comes down from the telephone pole into the parking lot that is bolted into the ground. Were you looking down? What were you doing? There's a big,
I'll
it's
defend
wrapped,
you, dude.
It's wrapped in a
Those
big
telephone
yellow.
poles, they come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it wasn't there when I parked.
It was wrapped in a big yellow sleeve.
I may or may not have been responding to a text.
Right.
Letting someone know that I was on my way to lunch.
And you smoked that thing. It trashed the front end of your car.
Yeah.
It was like you got into a head-on collision.
It was like $6,000 of damage that I did in 3 seconds. So my point is, that wasn't a spiritual battle, right? That was me being an idiot and looking at my phone.
I was say, that was stupidity.
That was me.
I didn't laugh though. I cared in that moment. I didn't laugh until I left.
You were walking to the parking lot, and when you saw it, you started laughing 20 yards away.
I couldn't believe what had just happened, but I felt bad because I'm like, that's going to be a lot of money.
After you knew that I wasn't injured,
you
were laughing really hard, which I understand.
It wasn't spiritual. That was just more of a.
No, that was stupidity. But it's not things like that. Like I don't over spiritualize that. But yeah, there have been other times where we call them showerisms. It's like we had this pop up, this pop up, and this pop up all in a 6-day period. And it's like, why are these things happening?
Yeah.
And why are they all, financial, which, is already a thing that I like stress about. And it's like, and then it adds this tension in our home.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden I'm frustrated and my wife's frustrated. And it's like all these things that don't make sense. Yeah. And we call them showerisms, but it's really like, man, is the enemy trying to knock us off guard right now?
Mm-hmm. Well, and so when you talk about standing firm, we said the way you battle those spiritual battles is you bring them to light.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I think is helpful is in those moments to recognize, and let's say you're wrong once out of 10 times, but 9 out of 10 times you're right. Yeah. So be wrong once out of 10 and you're like, I thought that was a spiritual battle, but it wasn't. But what we've learned is call it what it is. Like if you think there's a spiritual battle going on in your life, talk about it, because it brings it to light, and it can no longer fester in the dark. It can't hide. Satan can't continue to get your mind wrapped up into knots over whatever it is that you're navigating. And so for even like in that moment when we were on the back porch, and Rachel was like, man, this feels spiritual. Like her saying that out loud literally was like somebody just flip the light on, just kick the lights on. And it was like, boom. And all this, isn't it wild though? It was like all of a sudden it exposed him.
Yeah.
And we recognized what it was. Now, did everything just immediately go away? No, but when you know when you don't know what the enemy is, like we said,
you took the weapon away.
What was the quote from Joey Martin? We got to read it down here. Don't fight the devil in the dark, because you'll get your butt kicked.
Yeah, that's his domain.
That's his domain. So he is the ruler of darkness, right? So that's how he roams. So for us, it's like, man, let's just start hitting lights left and right in areas where we think he might be trying to attack or get a foothold.
One of the things you touched on was we can't bring it to the light on our own.
Yeah.
We've got to have people around us. I think the way you phrased it and the way you set it up was there's got to be someone that knows everything.
Yep.
There's got to be a few people that know some things, and then most people need to know nothing.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask you guys what this looks like in your life, but for me as a pastor, like this is really important.
Yeah.
Because what I can do is I can stand up and I can say whatever. Like there's a portion of people in our church, they only see me preach on Sunday mornings, right? They don't see me throughout the week. They don't see any struggles I have or anything else. So I can kind of, figure out, man, what's it look like to look really good on Sunday morning and then navigate whatever during the week. And what I've learned is when I'm struggling, it's almost like taught you to put a front on if you need to. So when I'm struggling, my go-to isn't to confess. My go-to is to hide, like hide whatever it is that I'm struggling with. Yeah. So to have somebody for me that I can pick up the phone, and man, I have really 2 people in my life right now that I would say in a heartbeat, I could pick up the phone and meet. In fact, I did it not too long ago, and I picked up the phone and I said, man, I just need prayer. Like I'm struggling. And just to be able to be 100% authentic and know that they're not going to judge me for it. They're not going to be surprised. They're not going, oh my gosh, what? You have a struggle? Like they know me well enough to know like I'm human. I'm able to be a bad dad. I'm able to be a bad husband, and I'm able to be a bad preacher and a bad boss. I mean, don't say anything about the bad preacher part, but you know what I'm saying? I'm able to. And so they're, for them, it's not surprising if I call and I'm like, hey, man, I'm struggling. And I think you have to have that. And so part of it for me with confession is I'll tell them, and then usually they'll say something like, man, let me pray for you, and it's not, hey, how could I fix that? Hey, now if there was something, I'm sure they would try to meet a need if there's a need, but it's usually not that. It's usually just me having a way to be able to share that with somebody and bring it to light.
Yep.
How are you identifying those guys?
So, well, I will say this, there was a season in my life, especially when I was a youth pastor, where nobody either encouraged me to do that. I didn't know that was something that I needed, or I just didn't have it. Yeah. And even early on in the early years of the church plant, I had a few guys, but not like I do now. And I think part of it is you have to invest in relationships with people that are gonna. I would say it this way: you need to know that when crap hits the fan, when crisis comes, you've got somebody you can pick up the phone and call. The only way to do that is to be there for them, right? To invest the time and the work and the energy into fostering that relationship. Yeah. If you're not fostering relationships like that, and and everything goes south and you try to pick up the phone and you don't have anybody, you haven't done the prep work to get there, right? So it's like a work of preparation. It's like a game plan. It's like, man, I know we're going to get out on the field and we're going to face a third and long or a fourth down, and I got to have a game plan even before the game starts. And unless you're the Chiefs, then
not really a game plan.
Game plan sucks. But anyway, but if that's you got to know, okay, so like I just imagine or envision like, so when something happens, because it's not if something's going to happen, but when something happens, if I'm going to stand firm and I'm going to bring it to light, who do I call? And so now I start thinking of a few guys in my life and I'm like, man, I need to make sure that I call them when nothing's going wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, like, how you doing, man? I'm doing good. How are you, man? I was just calling to check on you. I care about you and just want you to know. I think girls are better at this than guys, but I would just say, I think whether you're a girl or a guy right now, man, this world can be a lonely place when it comes to relationships because we're not very good at it. We're doing a lot of stuff online now and digitally. And so you have to have a few people in your life that you're like, I'm going to carve out and make it a point that I'm going to invest in this relationship. And what happens then when things go south is you're like, I got somebody to call. But I wasn't investing in relationships. So at that point in my life when I didn't have anybody, it was like, man, I would say you have to seek it out.
Yeah.
There's somebody in our church right now, actually, that when I was in college, they were one of my professors. And I remember I went to him and I said, hey, can I meet with you like once a week just for lunch and just pick your brain? And man, they were so willing to do that. Well, I said something to him last week. I said, man, how crazy is it? Like when I was in college at the age of 20, you were giving me wisdom that now at the age of 47, I've been able to use that sustained me in ministry. Like, but he didn't come to me. He made himself available, but I had to go seek that out.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
For me, there's a guy that I met a couple years ago that I reached out to, and him and I sit down about once a month. He's a local guy and pastor, been in ministry for 40 plus years. And so he's one that he's very old school. So if I ask him a question, he'll listen, then he'll go, yeah, here's what you need to do. I'm like, well, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
But it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Family, personal, life, ministry, all of it. It's been great.
Yeah. Well, and I think in those moments, like, I'm a huge advocate of going, you gotta seek that and when I say invest, not just relationally, but probably time, maybe even money.
Yeah.
Like one of the guys in my life that is become somebody that I can pick up and call is somebody who lives states away. So for me to foster that relationship, not only do I call him every once in a while just to check in,
you gotta go see
but
him.
I go see him. Which is a plane ticket.
Yep.
So I got to get on a plane and I got to go spend a day or two with him. And we try to find ways to spend time together because we know when things get tough, we're going to need it. So there's a cool, now this is going a little step further, but there's a cool analogy that Brad Lomenick uses when he does talks about just people in your life that relationally you're investing in and they're investing in you. And he says this, he says, who are your 8? And he said, you can have 6, but 6 or 8, who are your 6 or 8? And what he's talking about, who are those folks that are going to carry your casket? And I thought, man, what an analogy, right?
Yeah.
So who are the people when I die one day that are going to be pallbearers at my funeral? And those are the people that you go, okay, I got to make sure I'm fostering those relationships. Now, if you're going, well, I only got 3 people to carry my casket, you better get some work done because they're going to have to put it on rollers or something. They have to put you in a wheelchair
Not a
to get
small
you to
fella. That's going to be a heavy casket.
But because for me, like I look at that, for me, some of those are family members.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I investing relationally with my family? A lot of them are friends. Some of them are in ministry. Some of them aren't in ministry. They're just people along the way. I mean, one of my really close friends, we still talk a lot, almost weekly, if not weekly. Man, I met him, holy cow, 27 years ago. And we lived in the same town for 2 years. And we've just stayed connected and we've built that relationship. And so I think it happens over time. I think you have to seek it out though. I remember when we moved away and I gave him some like personal belongings of mine just as like a momentum to go, man, I want to make sure we stay connected. And so there's things like that I think you can do and you have to do.
Well, I think I'm curious on this too, your guys' thoughts on this, because I think we have some folks that are like, oh yeah, like I have every intention in seeking that out, and maybe I have someone. But there's also this tension I'm sure people wrestle with like, well, what keeps people from sharing the real things with these people.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, man, I can meet with you, but if I don't share everything with you, then are you really going to know me?
I think personally, whoever this person is in your life or people,
Yeah.
it has to be somebody who's not impressed with you at all.
Yeah.
If it's somebody who you're trying to impress or prove something to, you'll never share with them the difficult things in your life.
Yeah.
Like there's guys in my life that I admire greatly. They could never be somebody that I would share everything with because honestly, I want them to think highly of me.
Yeah.
I know that may sound shallow, but I think we have those people in our lives.
That's 100% real though.
And they're like a role model to me. And I just have this, it's more of I'm awed by them than it is, I want to share everything with them. And so, and then I think, we talked about there's some people that you want to share some things with.
Yeah.
And I think you have to have a bigger circle than the first circle of people that are okay with knowing that you struggle. We don't like to admit that we're struggling very much.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like, man, been a hard week. Like, would love some prayer.
Yeah.
That's a group of people that know something.
Yep.
They don't know everything.
Yep.
But they know something. And again, they're not gonna hold it against you.
And they're not going to ask you about what it is.
No, they don't care. They're just gonna pray for you because they know they've got their own struggles.
Yep.
Well,
and these are hard because as guys, you mentioned women are better at it. Like my wife will go have coffee with someone all the time. My question's like, well, what are y'all having coffee about?
Yeah.
And she's like,
what's the issue?
What do you mean? I'm like, well, what are y'all going to talk about? She's like, we're just hanging out. Yeah. I'm like, that's weird.
That's dumb.
Like, I've never had coffee with someone and didn't have a point to it, but that's exactly it. Like I think through, it takes active intentionality. And I think another thing for me, as I was thinking through kind of those like qualifiers is like, those guys in my life, like, they don't need anything from me and I have nothing to offer them.
Yep.
Like it's just completely unconditional, friendship. And
these aren't men or women. If you're a woman, these aren't men or women that you're going to let down.
Right.
By them finding out something about you, or you even saying, man, I'm struggling. They're not devastated by that. So it's really good.
It's good because you're like, you don't have to be Pastor Cody, the leader Cody. You just get to be Cody.
Yeah.
And there's just
and I think we have men and women that listen to this. I mean, they've got significant titles attached to their name, whatever that is, right? Or people who are counting on them. It's like, dude, I cannot let this person down because they are counting on me.
Yeah.
That's not your person.
It's not the guy.
It's not your person because that person, there's too much there that you have to worry about. Now, I will say this, and now you said this about girls, because I think it is not weird for girls to go grab coffee necessarily or go, hey, you want to run to lunch or, you like that. Now I shouldn't make a blanket statement. There are some who are more introverted that's hard for, but I think it seems more natural. I think every guy needs a fire pit. I think every guy needs a place where they can stoke a fire in the backyard and they can sit with a dude, smoke a cigar, maybe have a glass of bourbon, something that is a way to connect. Because I think, especially in the Midwest, I think one of the things that guys do is they go, well, the only way I'm going to be able to connect with a bunch of other dudes is go down to the bar.
Yep.
Well, the bar is the worst place.
Right.
I mean, all that is a huge enticement. That's like going into the room and shutting off the light. It's like, let's just walk into the darkness,
Yep.
And so, what's that look like to be able to sit around with some guys and just have some legit conversations? By far, I would say most real deep conversations I've had with men have happened around a fire.
And these are the type of guys too, where it's like, you can have a deep conversation or you could probably sit at that fire for 10 minutes, no one say anything.
Yeah.
And it be totally normal.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's like you could actually do both of those things with these people.
What's funny is a couple of my guys are also don't live in the state.
Yeah.
And what's funny about that is even still when I talk to them on the phone, I go out to our back porch.
That's
and
awesome.
I sit in that chair next to the pit.
It feels like you're sitting by them. Oh yeah. Well, and
they're doing the same thing at their house wherever they live.
I think I think for even couples, because women, we're probably not the three that should be speaking into how women should connect and all this. But I will say this. I think it's important if you're married, for the men that listen to this, I think it's important that you encourage your wives in that way. If they've got an opportunity to go out and connect with a friend and either do dinner together or lunch or coffee, and you go, man, I'll take the kids. I'll take the kids. You go have some time where you've got, you're building. It's hard when you've got kids as a woman at home. You got young kids and you're like, oh, you want me to find time to build relationships and foster that? Good luck.
Yeah.
You both have young kids at home.
Yeah.
What would you tell your wives?
I just did that this weekend.
Yeah.
Yep. I just did that
Don't
this weekend.
brag.
So, Chelsea, if you're watching this.
Tyler's like, dang it, I haven't done that. No.
Not
Go
only
ahead.
that,
Go
did
ahead,
it twice.
Brag.
I did it twice this weekend. On Friday, she drove down to Northwest Arkansas and had lunch with one of her best friends, or
That's
dinner
awesome.
with one of her best friends.
That's awesome.
And one of my sons killed a deer a couple weeks ago, and we got the meat back this week. And so she drove Northwest Arkansas, and we cooked some deer steaks.
That's right.
And then there was another day this week, and she went and had coffee with a friend of hers.
Which is
hers here locally.
it's huge because if you're especially if you're a mom and you're home all day with kids, and you feel like, man, you're relationally tapped anyway.
Yep.
Like the best thing you can do is give them a break. I don't know if we should ask Tyler.
Why would she not want to spend all of her time with me? I don't understand.
Yeah, and the kids.
That is so surprising
Got her
that she
life
would need a
made.
break.
No, actually, it was so funny. My wife actually went to a movie with her friend on Friday.
Yeah. Good work.
I took the
That's
kids.
what I'm talking about.
When's the last time you did it?
I'm going to be honest. I was sitting here thinking, my wife loves to walk.
Yeah.
So I used to be offended.
You don't have young kids.
No, I don't have young
anymore,
kids.
So.
But I used to be offended that she wanted to walk by herself because I'd be like,
Dude.
I feel like I'm pretty
Yep.
good company. And then I realized that's how she fills up. Like she goes, and during that time, not only will she talk to the Lord, but often she'll be on the phone with somebody or her sister or a good friend. And even hey, listen, yesterday she was at lunch with a friend. Okay. So now, was that my doing? No. But I thought it was great.
I was fully supportive.
Yeah, I was fully supportive of that.
Yep.
So I think part of that though is knowing like who is it that you're gonna,
Yeah.
because when you think about bringing stuff to the light, you get paralyzed real quick in thinking, holy cow, like I don't want everybody to know everything.
Yeah.
And the response is everybody doesn't need to know everything.
Right.
That's the response. So don't let that handcuff you. Somebody needs to know everything. Some need to know some things. And a lot of people don't need to know anything.
I liked what you said we call those people nosy.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm curious what the role of like social media has played in that category, where it's like I may not know you at all, but I feel like I know of you through social media.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to
yet,
ask you some deep personal questions.
great.
Yeah.
Well-
No.
oh, I thought you were going to ask me questions. I was like, here we go.
No, I'm saying
Go ahead, Shane. Ask him some deep personal questions. I'd
Someone
like to hear
feels
this.
like they know you because of social media, and so they feel like they deserve to be in that inner circle.
Yeah.
And so they turn out just being nosy
Yep.
because they're asking you personal questions, and you're like, you're not in that circle.
Yeah. Well, so we said the text goes like this: be strong, stand firm in the faith, act like men, and be strong, and then let everything you do be done in love.
Yeah.
And maybe we just talk for a second because I think maybe even just talking to men for a second. Obviously, a lot of our ladies in the church. I always check. We never apologize for talking to men because ladies in the church are like, yes, please, like speak into our husbands or the men in our lives. But one of the things that I think we miss in this is we tend to think that acting like men looks like putting on camo and going out in the woods and shooting something. And I'm like, if that's it, then it doesn't say that anywhere in Scripture.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's a part of it.
something that is fun to do. You know,
Yeah.
but the part of acting like men that Paul's speaking of is tied to love.
Yeah.
Like we got a lot of people in our lives that need to know that they're going to be protected, provided for, and they're going to be loved sacrificially.
Yep.
Right. And whether that's family members, whether it's coworkers, whether, to even a more deep and intimate degree, a spouse or your kids. And you look at that and you're like, man, I think this is where as a church, we want to get it right.
Yeah.
We're not just calling a bunch of dudes to kind of, go buy a truck and grunt and, nobody cares about that. Right. Like, again, it's like part of being a guy in the Midwest is that's what a lot of guys do. It's not what every guy does, though. I mean, we got a lot of guys in our church that don't hunt. We got a lot of guys in our church that are going, man, that's just not me. Like I'm into something else.
I drive a Prius.
Well, I mean, if they do.
Don't we have a guy on staff that drives a
We
Prius?
do. He's a man's man.
Who?
John.
John.
Yeah.
Dadgummit.
The gas
Guys,
mileage.
we just
bill.
called out John
It's
on the
incredible.
the gas mileage. Okay, in all fairness, John is an athletic specimen.
Yeah.
So you can drive a Prius if you look like John.
A Greek god.
A Greek guy.
Maybe that's why I drive a big truck, is because I don't look
You
like John.
are compensating. Yes. So that's a fair argument. But I think, in all of it, if we could be honest, like in all of it, like what is it that makes you a man? And I think what Paul's saying is if it's tethered to love and you look more like Jesus in the end,
Yeah.
that's the man that God's calling us to be.
All the characteristics he points out
Yeah.
are like countercultural, right?
Yep.
Like he's talking about being a servant and love and surrender and faith. Like, you know,
I think part of that word surrender, which is really what we use to put a bow on this whole series. Like, isn't it wild that when we think of being unshakable means surrender?
Yeah.
Right? It's so countercultural.
Yeah.
But I think part of that is you got to get to the end of yourself at some point. Like you got to get to a place where you're like desperate enough to go, you know what, the way I do it doesn't work.
Yep.
And I don't care if you're a guy or a girl, you have to at some point go, man, if I'm going to live this life the way God's called me to live, I gotta get rid of some stuff in my life. The control, all the stuff the fear, all the stuff that's just gripping you. I went over my sabbatical, I think was that last year? That seems like forever ago. Over my sabbatical, I went out to a barn in the middle of Kentucky and I forged a knife over 2 days. And one of the things I loved about that process of forging this knife is I was sitting there beating the tar out of this piece of iron, just like hammering this thing to death. And the old retired pastor who was helping me do it, by helping me, basically he did it and showed me the ropes. He said, hey, you need to understand the purpose of the anvil. The purpose of you need to bend the steel around the anvil. The anvil's not going to move. The anvil's not going to bend. So when you shape this thing, it's the piece of iron that's going to bend. So you need to use the anvil in a way in which it's going to bend the knife. And then he looked at me and he goes, and that anvil is the word of God. Like he just pastored me in that moment. And he's like, and if you want to be shaped into who God has called you to be, you're going to have to let your life be bent around his word. Like you're not going to change his word. It doesn't matter what you do. You're not going to change his word. And I walked away from that moment and I thought, man, I think if we're going to look like Jesus and we're going to act like men, at some point we got to start bending our life to the truth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like we got to quit living a lie, you know? And I would say you could use the same phrase to women. If you want to act like a woman, the woman that God's created you to be, at some point you got to bend your life to the truth.
Yep.
You got to quit with the insecurities. You got to quit with the, man, I wish I looked like this, or I wish I looked like that. And you got to start going, man, this is who God's called me to be. And I want to live this out. And I want to do it by bending my life around his word. And so I get excited about that because I think we got a whole crew of people in our church that are wanting to live unshakable in their faith.
Yeah.
And I think when that happens, dude, that's an army of people that are flipping on lights and the devil's having to flee.
Awesome.
And we're declaring victory. The song we sang Sunday after that message of I was made for more. How do you sing that and not get fired up?
Yeah. So good. Well, and don't you feel like that's what's been happening throughout this series?
Yeah.
Like, man, just a lot of light switches being turned on.
Holy
like
cow.
We started week 1 talking about bending to the truth.
Yeah,
Remember we talked
did.
about that?
That's
week 1 of our series. Here's what's crazy. Week 1 of our series was in September when everything happened with Charlie Kirk. Doesn't that feel like just so long ago?
forever ago.
Yeah.
Well, and so we've had almost 50 baptisms
Incredible.
over this Unshakable series, and the stories that
lot
have
of
come
light
out
switches.
of that, a lot of light switches, and the holy cow,
Yeah.
the stories that have come out of that.
Yep.
I mean, we just we have a text thread here at the church, and we got an image on it of these 2 kids standing backstage watching the TV, holding each other as their mom was getting baptized. Dude, I get emotional.
Chill bumps, man.
I'm like,
yeah.
They're watching like their mother take a step of faith that's going to change their whole lives.
Yep.
I mean, it's like these moments that I talked to a guy Sunday who walks up to me and he goes, man, it's my first Sunday at this church and I'm 3 months clean and I want to figure out what it looks like to follow Jesus. I mean, it's like, this battle. This is how I want to end this series podcast. Like this battle's being won.
Yeah.
It is being won.
Yeah.
Now, are there small battles going on in everybody's lives? Yes. Does it feel like sometimes we're facing defeats? Yes. But ultimately, this battle's being won.
Yep.
And we've got people that listen to this and they've had to take a step back and they've been knocked down and they're like, man, I feel like I'm, but you're not out, right?
Yep.
Like get up, do this. The enemy has no power over your life.
Yeah.
Keep standing firm, keep pursuing love and Jesus and all of this. Be watchful, get your eyes open, and let's do this thing. So it's been good.
It's been
Awesome,
incredible.
dude.
Last thoughts, and then we're going to close this thing out.
It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard
You
can
did like
get
the
hit.
Rocky quote.
I loved it.
Okay,
He
what
was
if?
quoting, he was doing more Rocky quotes in the lobby to me on Sunday. It got weird.
Yeah, but
I was like, dude, chill out about Rocky.
That's how winning is done.
okay. Let me ask you this: since we did have a passage Sunday on be a man, what's the manliest thing you've ever done?
One time I hit a light pole with my Maserati. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, shots fired.
That's hurtful.
What's a podcast episode?
Can you think of the manliest thing you've ever done?
I was with two of our staff guys on the back patio before we built on.
Yeah.
And there was a snake on the back patio.
Okay.
And neither one of them would go up to it.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't huge.
Rightly
maybe
so.
like a foot. I walked up. They're like, what are we going to do with this thing? I walked up without saying anything, and I stomped on its head and killed it. And I picked it up and threw it.
It's like biblical.
Yeah.
Good for you, Tyler.
I didn't know I had that in me. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not going to lie. I hate snakes. I would have ran. So that's very manly.
Yeah.
I got more respect for you now.
Thanks.
Shane, this is hard, wouldn't it?
I feel like, I'm a musician. Like, we don't do anything manly.
He's a musician that does not wear skinny jeans.
One time I played Skinnerd. I feel like that was
Growing a beard's manly.
Yeah. I mean, well, I feel like mine go back to the things we just made fun of. Like, can I be manly adjacent?
That feels like a term that's just right around the corner.
I hinted at the story earlier, but me and one of my kids went hunting for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I didn't do it though.
But when you stick your hands in the organ cavity of an animal, there's something about that will change your life.
Yeah, my 11-year-old killed a buck and we field dressed it and did everything right there, and so that felt manly, although it was more him than me.
But when you're eating those steaks
but when I was making that steak,
you're living vicariously.
The manliest thing I've ever done was I bought an F-150 with a lift kit on it. I drive a big truck. Okay, I fit all the everything that every joke that you have.
Right now.
I'm literally wearing camo.
Every
stereotype
right.
of a guy moving to the Midwest and wanting to become a manly cowboy. I'm trying to do.
Hey, you'll get there.
I moved here from San Diego. I had some work to do.
How close are you to arriving to that point?
I feel like I'm really close.
Okay. Ty, how close do you feel?
I own a cowboy hat.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I feel like I'm there.
Yeah, you're there. Done. Well, you guys have been awesome. Thanks for helping host this thing.
Yeah.
And we will be back. I can't wait to share the series that we're doing in
it's gonna be awesome.
spring, winter. Holy cow. It's
so good.
Our folks are going to be stoked.
Yeah.
So, and we'll jump back on and we'll have brand new content. You'll probably have wrecked a different vehicle by then.
Probably.
And
thank you for speaking that over me, Ricky Bobby.
Hey, and we'll jump back on. Until then, we'll see our podcast crew next time.
Later.
All right. See you guys.